Hey everybody, Kat here. Welcome to my channel. Hope you're having a great day. Well, today we're going to talk about the monarchy, the media, and the manipulation. That's true. I mean, one of the firstly, it's vital that you understand that the monarchy is a lot more than just soft power. That's what we always hear. Oh, they have soft power. Well, history will show us that despite recent protestations to the latter, to the contrary, the monarchy has been controlling the media, I don't know, hundreds of years. I mean, we can go back to December 11th, 1936, the abdication of King Edward VIII, later to be known as the Duke of Windsor. Now, he and Wallis had been having an affair for, at least 5 years by the time he became king. For a lot of that time, most of that time, she was still married to her husband. Now, the elites knew about it, the establishment, aristocracy, whatever you want to call it, knew about it. Press around the world knew about it. I mean, it was being reported. At one point, they went on a cruise. The yacht was the Narlin or something like that. And I think they went to Greece. Photos of them on the yacht together on holiday. Those were published around the world, but not in Great Britain the whole time. The palace and the press, suppress. Everybody knew what was going on, except for the British public. The average person were not allowed. The press did not publish. There was a complete moratorium on the whole thing. When she would accompany him to an event, let's say, or they'd be seen in the same event, she'd be airbrushed out of the pictures before they appeared in print in the press or anything. That's true. Look it up. They absolutely did not want the public to know about this. And it was kept secret till really just weeks before the abdication. The whole abdication crisis, pretty much to the regular public, propped up out of nowhere. But, I mean, of course, too, now we know at the time, Wallis was just the ideal excuse for the abdication and to get rid of the king. It was a coup, really, and it didn't have anything to do with Wallis. It had more to do with what was going on in Germany at the time. You can find out about that too. Just do a little bit of research. When they finally did have to make up some kind of story around why the king was abdicating, Wallis, whom they'd kept secret all this time, was a really, really good excuse. That's true. I mean, they manipulated history. It wasn't till not too long ago that we understood the truth of the Duke of Windsor at the time. Pretty interesting stuff when you learn what real history is. But, and I mean, that's just one example. That is just one example of the monarchy and the media suppressing information, manipulating information to control the public. I mean, books and articles have been suppressed in Great Britain, not allowed to be published there, even though they're published around the world. That happens all the time. And there's an ongoing situation right now. There's an esteemed author who's written about royals before that has been researching a book and in need of, you know, the Royal Archives. You apply and you get to look at things and this kind of thing. Well, he had applied to get some information through the Freedom of Information Act, and I think 3 or 4 times he's been turned down. It's just they're immune. They're immune to things like that. No, we're not showing you our documents. If they don't, it's true. The monarchy, you only see what they want you to see. I mean, that was very true in the Diana years. Very true in the Diana years. The press knew about the breakdown of the marriage from like 1986 on. They did not actually come out and report on it until after 1992, when both Diana and Charles published autobiographies and spilt the beans. But once it was out, the press had a field day. And the tapes came out, Camilla Gate and Squidgy Gate, and it was a free-for-all in the press. Horribly embarrassing for all involved, but they're royals, they're immune. Over time, it didn't hurt them. You know, and we're finding out all this. Oh my God, this is madness what's going on. And it continues, I mean, it continues to this day from the, I mean, people are still talking. Harry's just been in court. He wins a bid, he loses a bid. He says, Camilla was talking to the press. You know, my mother, she destroyed my mother's life. He's not wrong. I don't agree with Harry often, and I think he's a dingbat of the highest order and a real arsehole. But he's not wrong about this. Perhaps he doesn't understand the extent of what goes on. But yeah, at the time, Camilla had friends who had friends in the press that she would lunch with on a regular basis. Charles had friends, of course. All of his friends were aristocrats and establishment. They knew people in the press to whom they could speak and influence. And that is why you saw a proliferation of the stories like, oh, Diana's unstable, she's got this and that, she's crazy, and all of that kind of press, you know, because they were really, and those titles stuck with Diana for a long time. I mean, they really had a push to label her as the crazy one to kind of justify Charles's behavior, I guess. But, I mean, at the same time, Diana, she had Richard Kay, who's now, I think, with the Daily Mail. I'm not sure, but I see his articles pop up here and there now, you know, a lot. And he's on a couple of shows on a fairly regular basis. She was talking to him. I mean, she was driving around with him in the trunk of her car to get to the, and sit down and have a chat with him. It was madness. But they were royal. They could get away with it. There was still a sense of deference. The major publications didn't want to say or do anything against the monarch or the monarchy because there was still that awe, worship, and deference of of royalty that they would not dare cross them, you know. And the palace knows that. The palace knows it's got this kind of power over them should it decide to use it. And it uses it a lot. I mean, from way back when to recent times, look what's happening. We have got all kinds of questions right now. Who's really funding Harry and Meghan? Excuse me. You know, who's really funding them? What is their true agenda? What is their true mission? How do they fit into the big scheme of things? And what's the palace involvement? Excuse me, dry throat. You know, the children, the supposed children that, in my opinion, don't exist. Why is this myth still propagated? Why are they still listed as heirs? Why do they have titles when there's rumor that they've never even been seen by the Queen, which I never thought they did either. But why is the palace complicit in that? What about everything we've heard about Meghan? Why is the palace suppressing that? And the bullying report and all those rumors about Harry, that if they're true, I mean, it's just horrible. And it doesn't look good for the palace as a whole either, because they've kept those secrets. And you know damn well that the government knows of the secrets the palace need to keep, because it's a parliamentary democracy. One depends on the other. The government depends on the monarchy for support, and the monarchy depends on the government to support. Although I would argue, if push really did come to shove, I mean, the monarch has the right and ability to prorogue the government, take over, oust them all. Can you imagine? So that's more than soft power. It is the Majesty's government, the Majesty's court, you know. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we need to find out. You know, and so much is being squashed and suppressed, even now, perhaps more than ever. But I mean, that's a realization. Rather than just blind worship of the monarchy, you really have to understand that, you know, royal secrets, they only let you see what they want you to see. And it's the monarchy's full-on manipulation of its subjects. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how much money they really have. We don't know to what extent they're in cahoots with perhaps other governments or perhaps worldwide organizations that seem to want to suppress the average person. That is one of the biggest truths about the monarchy that you have to come to grips with, that it's 80% show and 20% working for their own ends, you know, which involves the wider scope of worldwide government. That's why you see them as members of the World Economic Forum. That's why you see Harry involved with the Aspen Institute. Those kind of connections that you can't deny, that you have to start looking at the monarchy as more than just the whole fairy tale princess kind of mentality that we tend to have about monarchies. Anyway, a little bit of info for you today, something to think about. Hope you liked it. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you think about everything. Have a great day, everybody.